think the things upload a little bit different, but we're going to do Krista's past life. Give me a second. What are we getting into here? I thought we might be going to that new deck that I got, the Beloved Dead, this one, but we're not. I asked myself twice. We're not going into the Beloved Dead, although it's beautiful, and I thought we'd be using it for past life for your particular one. No, we're going into Ghost Tarot, which is really strange and interesting. We're going into the past life cards here. We're going into the Citadel here. And then some of the tarot decks that I find I really love for past life are right here. We're going into Sleepwalker's Tarot here. And I keep these closed in case we want any others that I've got labeled for that. Okay. The Ghost Tarot was calling most strong, so we're going to start with that. Amber says, you've had priestess training and have tried to walk that path. Yeah. Keep with that, Amber, and let it come in layers for you. Let it come in gentle layers and then call it back. All right. Past life. We're back here. Past life. All right. Here we go. I'm getting something very chefy. Why am I getting that? That's like an archetype really, really weird, but we're getting a very chefy kind of energy. What were you doing? Okay. Ghost Tarot. This is what we got coming up through here. Let me take a minute and look with this because it won't read like tarot. I'm getting concoctions, offering the concoctions to the lost, to the forlorn. Concoctions, very chefy, offering the concoctions. I don't even know if this is a word. I'm getting the word Potioneer. This is somebody that would create a brew, knew her herbs, knew what to cook, knew what to concoct. Potioneer is what you were, what you did. Potioneer, I've never even had that as a word. I don't know that that's a word. Potioneer. Madame, would you help me? Madame, could you help me? Madame, I need help. Potioneer. Concocting and balancing and taking this tablet, mortar and pestle, mashing, grinding. Potioneer. Why? There's Potioneer. There's a little bit of what needs to be the sense of this is how it's done, and there's a little bit of skullduggery is not the right word. Slyness, craftiness about what you're doing. Potioneer, in creating this alchemy going on. What's going on here? This Potioneer, what's she doing? You are the Potioneer. The chefiness is a modern thing. But our modern terms of chef, how they cook and use spices and different things together, we think about this for eating, right? We think about this for menu items. This feels very much different than that. It's very woo-woo, Potioneer. I don't know how to... Captain, the Guard, and the King. Deals are struck. You do work for the courts, for like I'm getting your allegiances for the royal courts, but you work also a little bit of side hustle is what I would say on that for those that are not in the court. What is going on? I want this all moved back. I want to be able to have these cards out of the way. I want the Citadel cards brought to the side. I'm going to show you what I'm fidgeting with over here. The Captain, the Sentinel, and the King. So these are all standing here. I want them all standing strong. So I'm going to put these ones here so you can see them because I need more space on my desk. These are all to the side. We are physically moving shit to the side. We're physically adjusting things to the side. Why is this important for her to see? I don't recall ever doing this. You're working around the rules and the laws. You're working adjacent to them, working around and through, weaving around and through. You're working around and through and to the side of things. You're sidestepping, overcoming, coloring outside the lines would be a good thing. It's not like you straight up defy the king, but you know the order of what needs to be set. Okay, I'm just going to say this once because I don't want to create too much controversy, but you know the power of pennyroyal. You're a potioneer. You know the power of pennyroyal. You know the power of many herbs and many things that you need to do. You would concoct a love potion as easily as you would concoct chicken noodle soup in current time. All right, what else is going on? Who are these? Who are the star-crossed that you had to help? There is a star-crossed that you had to help. Yes, star-crossed, the star-crossed ones, like the star-crossed lovers. Yes, yes, there is the star-crossed that you had to help. Over and over, you helped the lovelorn, the lost, the moody, the broody, and the star-crossed that you have to help. Wow. Giving legitimacy where law could not allow it to be is something that you were able to do. You concoct things. You are lettered. It's why you act as the sentinel. You would create papers where there wasn't actually legal papers. You would create standing where there needed to be standing, where there rightly should be standing, but there wasn't. You would create this. So we have the gluttony here, the somebody that's overindulgent here. This collector, these are coming in with really taking too much greed energy coming in. Somebody that was overindulgent in one of his vices, overly lusty, a randy type of man, a very lustful ladies man, player that perhaps is not as careful as he should be. You are accommodating, cleaning up the consequences for this person frequently. Not always, but frequently. I say not always because there are occasions when it's right to allow things to proceed by the way that nature would allow them to proceed. And the star-crossed. The star-crossed is important here. This needs to go to this side here. Then we have here, deserter, and this is the star-crossed. These two need to leave. Okay, all right. The star-crossed, you have the young lovers, you have, we're going to call them Romeo and Juliet, whoever they are. I don't think they're so star-crossed and fated to death. However, they definitely are of two different social class and castes. And Juliet's in trouble in this particular one. In this particular version, Juliet has suffered the Randy one. And this is a case where you're definitely helping them leave. You're definitely helping them make way, make their escape. You're juggling and rejuggling things, papers, documents, situations. You're giving standing to one of them. I don't know if it's the Romeo or the Juliet you're giving standing to as far as the way you know how to manage the papers. And the Potioneer. There's a sleeping draught. There's a sleeping thing that is being concocted. Oh, the heavy-eyed king, the heavy-eyed king. Oh, the heavy-eyed king. The randy one feels like he is the heavy-eyed king. He's aged, he's a little randy, he's got Juliet up the creek. And he's not who Juliet wants at all. What are you doing? The Potioneer, the Potioneer. You can only do so much. You have limited capacities, but you know your shit. And you know who to talk to on this side. You know the sentinels, you know the guards. You do send the guards with them. You send them out. You definitely send them out. The thing that would be the nightmare, the overflowing cup, the thing that would be the nightmare is turned into the gift. You're the one that makes this transition. You help them escape the tower, escape the system, the structure, the order. You help them escape the class system and the caste system. She is the one that is of the higher class. She is higher born than the he right here. You help them escape and get them the papers, get him the papers. He needs the papers that have something that helps with lineage, that takes her to join with him to make something more legit, is what I'm getting here. Did you get what I'm putting down? There's a calling, a nighttime calling, the dreaminess. And again, the Sleepy King comes right here. This one, the Sleepy King here. What have you done to this Sleepy King? Oh my goodness. What I'm getting is the Sleepy King, you're not just making him sleepy for a night. You've got this king hungover and hazed over. If you were to do this and be found out, you would have been you would have been not only dismissed and discharged, but exit stage left in the strongest way possible. The king is unwell. Why is he unwell? And why for so long? I don't know. In modern times, we would say medically induced coma. This is something where you have created the time, the space, and the potion that gets the king off of his game and out of play for a little bit of time. You had to. You had to. You simply had to. You couldn't let it stand otherwise. You had to. You had to. You had to. What was just, what needed to happen, the legal stuff that needed to happen, had to happen. Had to. The legal stuff about the king had to happen, had to change. It's not that the king had to be done away with or you had anything to do with that. It wasn't like that. But the king needed a break so that these two, this is you honoring young love and young lovers, and they need to be honored, even though the Sleepy King that acted out of alignment, out of order, they needed their escape, and you helped facilitate that. And you're the Potioneer, and people go, Madame, Madame, will you please, will you please? You know the power of what it is that you use, whether it's clover, whether it's mint, whether it's lavender, whether it's vetiver, whether it's anything that you would find from the earth, from the ground. You know how to create a sleep. You know how to create more vigor. You know how to create like a chef would. Chef's kiss on your potion. Extreme and exquisite potioneering skills. You know what is prized and what must be held. The king had to hold his seat. The king had to hold his power. The king had to hold his authority. And it behooved. It helped the king to not lose face as well. This was done on the QT, on the very quiet. The king's guards knew what was going on. Some of the other people did not know what was going on. The deal was struck. You know who is in high authority with the guards. You know what must be presented to the mass. The happy, happy, picture happy, to create economic stability. The Potioneer has very much going on. You know how they used to have like the king's taster so things wouldn't be poisoned? They also have Potioneers that would make the king look better, look more healthy, have this healthy glow to him. The Potioneer would know how to have exactly what was needed for the whole court. The Potioneer. Strong, strong. All right, let's see what else is going on for you personally. Do you get to do anything in your world that isn't just like service to other? No. Whoa. No. This isn't a life where you were meant to be like having your own family. No. You were definitely hired on task and tasked out with the job of the Potioneer. Madame, please, Madame, please. Which often we think of women as in a state where they have less power. And in this particular system, how this would have been, it would have been something that flies under the radar. Madame, please. You would hide things in the cakes and in the loaves of bread. Now we're getting to the gluttony. We're coming here. There's a hiding of things, of messages, and also of concoctions. So you would have a cake or a loaf of bread and flip it upside down, pull part of it out, pack in whatever it was that was the Potioneer, whatever it is, the potion, the elixir, the whatever, pack that back in, flip it upside down, and bring it forward. It's the very chefiness that's coming through quite crazily. Those who knew that were in the know were in the know. Wow. You had your own way of alchemy. You had your own way of chemistry. But beyond that, you knew the herbology. You knew the things that would be apothecary, and you knew the things that would be baking. You traveled the kitchens and the medicinal. You traveled back and forth to both. You handled the ladies often. And I think you were a woman in this lifetime, Madame, please. But you were a wise woman that also would have known both of these areas, both of these assignments. Kitchen, 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 apothecary, apothecary. You go to between. Yeah. You are going between a lot in here. You have the illumination, the knowledge, the wherewithal, the skill, the ability to craft, to master, to create, and to put things in these concoctions, not just stuffing loaves of breads and cakes with a little bit of magic concoctions that can help a person out, but also this knowledge that you have that you're passing through. It's a knowledge that has been passed on. How do you have this? It comes from the father's side. It's not just the matrilineal line, but the father's side gets the doors opened for the apothecary, for what would be, sometimes people would call it medicine man, pharmaceuticals, pharmacologicals, medicinals, and the clout, and the lettered clout, the papered clout, the legal clout. All of this comes from the father's side. From the mother's side, the cooking, the baking, the knowing, what is passed on between the women, and the knowing of the herbal stuff is also coming through the mother side. That you might have a certain spice like cayenne or something that's really fiery when you cook with it, but also can help relieve pain. This is passed through on the mother side. The Potioneer, what else are you doing? You are in servitude in this one. You are the master of this. You are in servitude. This particular life, this particular time, it doesn't show that you have children. It doesn't show that you marry. Again, this is something that you did specifically in a high level, but you've also done it in the lesser classes. That sounds so snotty, but whatever. Leave that off there. In the lesser classes, for the people, so for just the peasantry, the regular people. You've helped the regular folks to know, Madame, please. There is a need for help, a need for helping people move through difficult circumstances. Madame, please. There is also routes and papers that are needed. There, it's like, a document forger in the guard, in the sentinel. The document forger. It's like, you know how to get these people papers that will get them to the places they need to go, where they're going to be able to live more true to themselves, live more freely, less oppressed. Whatever, when people have the anxiety, the stress, the hardship placed upon them, there is a certain call, a certain song in the night that comes up. There is a certain scent of perfumery. There is a perfumery. There is something that is a certain perfumery. What is with that? Look up the story of Aquatofana. It's something that is a story of that. I don't think you were she, but I think you understand the ways of her. Aquatofana was something that was a signature, wow. Yeah, a signature concoction of somebody that was also one that was a madam, help me please, but she was a little bit more extreme. I think she got a little off course in what she was doing. Look this up. Yeah. What else is the siren's call that comes through, and the perfumery, and the sleeping aspect of things. This is something you are a master of. The sleeping aspect, the sleeping king. Something about this. You have this mastery of getting people drowsy enough to create a window of time for people to go. Anything else? It's your gift. It's your gift. It came through over and over and over. It's your gift. It's your gift. You were the Potioneer. You were expert. That's what I've got. That's complete. That's beautiful. Holy shit. You were the Potioneer extraordinaire. And with the good heart. That's what I've got. That's complete. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I got.